Alright, and we are back with number dos match of this league. Uh, Rhymes with Smosh, that's a funny name. Gonna go ahead and play. We're gonna keep. This hand is quite saucy. I'm gonna be able to start off with a turn 1 Elite Vanguard. I think generally you want to just start off with the turn 1 2-1 rather than the turn 1 Javelineer. I could easily be wrong though. I guess in this case I'm wrong because my opponent went Delver, so let that be a lesson to you guys. Always start off with the turn 1 Acacia Javelineer, especially since my opponent just has the nuts. Oh, well they paused. I guess they didn't have a whatchamacallit, a daze. Delver, well, like everything else, not a very good matchup. My opponent blocked. Oh, okay, so I'm up against blue black Delver or maybe Kiln Fiend. Kiln Fiend's a much easier matchup than Delver is. Delver is everybody's worst matchup. I can only assume so because my opponent blocked. That it's like, I guess we'll see depending on what land they get here, but, you know. A third land next turn would be great because then we would have a Loyal Cathar into a Bone Splitter. Or, well, actually probably an Acacia Javelineer, but, you know, we will see. No, it is blue-black Delver. That is a pretty sexy looking swamp, if I do say so. And then the Delver. Okay, that's good. So we get to now attack for 2. They're not going to block, but might as well just to make someone out there not get angry at me for doing things out of order. Go ahead and play the Acacia Javelineer and the Loyal Cathar and pass the turn. I think it's better to get the Acacia Javelineer down if my opponent does not have an answer to the Acacia Javelineer. And, oh, they do have days. I guess they just didn't want to use it. Oh, fair enough. I've actually have not seen Angler Delver play days. That's new to me. I've not seen that. Well, shows how ahead of the game I am usually. uh, yeah, but I forgot what I was saying. Whatever. I was saying something and then I forgot. It probably wasn't very important. My opponents always do have the nut draw, as you know, so I always have to beat the best nut draw, which means that when I win, it just feels better. Oh, that would have been good. My opponent, so I'm going to play Squadron Hawk here, and then I'm going to leave up Mana Tithe. My opponent, pondered and then left all of them on top, so chances are that this Delver is going to do the Flipperino. Just going to go ahead and attack. I'm sorry, I'll admit, I get a bit salty when my opponents always have the best draw possible. I don't know what it's like. Oh, now they're Thought Scouring. Okay. So maybe they pondered into the Disfigure, and they have Thought Scour for the 2 lands on top. They did flip off of a Ponder, understandably so. I mean, that was probably bound to happen. This deck plays so many spells. So it's understandable that they would blind flip Zedelval. Unfortunately, my opponent probably knows the jig is up with the Mana Tithe, so that is a problem. Let's hope that my opponent gets greedy and taps out for the Gigar Mega Angler that's going to come down. Or a Phantasmal Bear. Okay. Did not expect that one. Let's go ahead and attack for 3. And then resolve another Squadron Hawk. Probably going to block. Yep. Alrighty. I see no reason for my opponent not to block there, but what do I know? Nope. And, alright, get my 2-1 back. Pass the turn. Phantasmal Bear. You know, I have actually seen Phantasmal Bear be making a comeback. I remember very, very, very long time ago when Phantasmal Bear was played, I think, in Delver decks. But I think that was before, you know, lists got refined, and I think that might have been before Delver ever even came out. But I don't really remember. I remember always looking at Magic Online and seeing a couple lists playing it. I didn't play Delver back then, so you know, I don't even remember what I played back then. That was so long ago. I think I just played Storm back then. So yeah, I guess Delver might not have been around. But you know. So my opponent chose to rearranged their ponder and then chose to shuffle anyway. So that was interesting. I'm going to go ahead and take that 3. Alright. Going to play this Bone Splitter, and then we're going to play the other one. And then we're going to attach it, both of them, to this dude, so that my opponent can either take a buttload of damage or they have to block. And I almost F6 through my turn because I forgot about the F8. Let's make sure not to do that. My opponent might block. They left up counterspell mana, but did not counter any of the Bone Splitters, which I was a little surprised about. I think I would have countered them, but what do I know? Alrighty. Opponent chose to block. That's cool. Another Ponder. Man, what is it like? I just want to play Ponder in every deck. I want to play Ponder in this deck. I'm kidding. Let's see what my opponent does with it. Alright, this time they chose not to shuffle, but they are not playing anything quite yet. They didn't play anything at all, in fact. Alright, well, we're going to equip to both of these Hawks, and we're going to attempt to attack. And then, probably going to play another Hawk and say go. I don't, Actually, I'm probably just going to play this Loyal Cathar, to be honest with you. Agony Warp. Alright. So my opponent is not taking anything now. And we'll go ahead and play this guy. Does my opponent have another Daze? They do not. Cool. Agony Warp is a very strong magic card in Pauper. Very, very strong. So my opponent was going to play something, but they did not at first. Or I guess they just did not in general. Journey to Nowhere. Alright, I'm not going to equip because I want the option. I want to be able to play 2 things this turn. One of them possibly being Mana Tithe, one of them possibly not being Mana Tithe. We're just going to play the Hawks, though. We're not going to bother journeying. Alrighty. Brainstorm is cool. Brainstorm without fetch lands. I don't like this picture. I'll be honest. I prefer either the Ice Age or I guess the woman doing the solar flare thing on the Mercadian Mask picture is also cool. Solar flare, for those of you who are DBZ fans, shoutouts to you because Dragon Ball Z is awesome. You know what DBZ and me have in common? My loss ratio in Magic is well over 9,000. So we both get to make the same pun. Oh god, I feel stupid now. Alright, I'm just going to play another Squadron Hawk. I'm not going to bother playing this Journey to Nowhere. If my opponent has Remove Soul, so be it, I guess. And this is another reason I don't really like Mana Tithe, is I feel that it's just not good against so many decks, and it's just a dead card. Like, I'm going to take the damage here. I don't fear a burn spell, so there's no point in blocking anytime soon. Alright, let's go ahead and play Journey since I have 2 now. Yep. Go ahead and play another Journey. And take Delver. I'm going to attack with everybody, but I'm going to leave a Hawk back just in case I want to block the Phantasmal Bear in case my opponent does not block. Because my opponent can take the damage and go to 2. I have a Doomblade, okay. As our last card, that is fine. Opponent's at 7, which is unfortunate. Alright, so we'll equip. And we'll equip. And let's go ahead and attack. I'm not attacking with one of the birds. Oh, I guess that was an accident. Yeah, I should have equipped to the other bird. I thought too quickly there. I should not have done that. Should not have done that. Okay. That was a misplay. I should not have been going so quickly. This, ladies and gentlemen, is why you do not go on autopilot, but thankfully we won anyway. Now, it is possible that maybe I should have played Mana Tithe there against the opponent to maybe make them, worry about it. But I think I'm just going to end up taking them out here and bring in the Sunlance for Delvers and the Phantasmal Bears. And then we can bring in the Veteran Armorers. We can bring in the Standard Bear. I like bringing in Standard Bear, personally. Most likely start off with the Elite Vanguard again. Opponent's probably going to get an island here. If they have a daze and they daze my first turn play, I could really give a crap less. Actually, I think... yeah, I think I'll play the War Falcon. Here's why. I don't want to trade with a Phantasmal Bear if my opponent plays one on turn 2. So I think War Falcon's probably the best play. Next turn, I might go Elite Vanguard into Thraben Inspector, or I might go Loyal Cathar. I'm not really sure. I don't know if I'm feeling the Cathar is loyal. But, maybe he is. Maybe he is. Having 2 Squadron Hawks in my opening hand sucks, by the way. Ooh, a Sunlance. Okay, I'm going to Sunlance then. I want the Delver dead. I don't care if the Elite Vanguard really gets countered. But I care that the Delver is dead. Alright, get in for 2. And pass the turn. Kind of sucks that the more cards I put in my opponent's graveyard, the easier it is to cast a Gurmag Angler, but such is life, you know. Opponent played a Shrivel. That is fine. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and play Loyal Cathar into Thraben Inspector. One of the reasons I did not bring in the... whatchamacallit, the... whatever the 2/2 guys are that would protect my guys against Shrivel, is I don't expect my opponent to have many copies of it, and I can easily rebuild from it unless my opponent is just able to really get me with it. On the play, I would bring them in. On the draw, I think I would leave in the Standard Bearers, but maybe it's just wrong in general. My opponent did not play a land last turn, so I guess we'll see what happens here. They're taking their sweet time to think about it. Alright. We drew a land, so I'm just going to cast 2 Hawks. Let's go ahead and attack for 3. Opponent does not have a Disfigure. Let's go ahead and cast 2 Hawks. I think casting 2 Hawks is better than just drawing a card here. So if my opponent flips the Delver, that means they're not drawing a land. If they draw a land, that means they're not flipping the Delver. So that's a good thing. Is my opponent going to disfigure my Loyal Cathar now? And then shrivel me again? That would suck. They disfigured a Hawk. That's interesting. Okay, so the Delver is guaranteed to flip now because they have a Brainstorm. That's fair. That is very interesting. My opponent... My opponent disfigured a Hawk. I don't know what that means. I guess my opponent plans on attacking with the Delver this turn? And doesn't want me to double block? I guess they could also play a Gurmag Angler, and that's why the Loyal Cathar doesn't matter. Not exactly sure, to be honest, but we'll see. Alright, so my opponent attacked and flipped an Agony Warp with it. I still don't understand why they chose to hit my Hawk, but whatever. Gonna go ahead and play Standard Bear before the fact, so that they have to use their Agony Warp. Maybe not in the way they want to. So they can kill my Loyal Cathar and they can minus my Standard Bearer. But maybe if they wanted to use something else, they would have to, now they're forced to take 2 damage. I mean, it goes without saying, if they have another Shrivel, I am probably dead. If they don't have another Shrivel, I don't think I'm dead. Oh no, they're killing... Okay, so they're killing that, so my Loyal Cathar is living, so they don't have another Shrivel. At least, if my opponent does, he's baiting me real hard. I'm just going to play a Hawk here instead of drawing a card. I think playing a Hawk is just better. Okay, never mind, my opponent is very, very afraid of the Hawk. I don't know why. Unless they just really wanted to get the use out of days, I perfectly understand that. Good old bear. Alrighty. Yep, taking 3. Sun Lance off the top would be great. Or Journey to Nowhere. Opponent chose to shuffle very quickly there. Well, Locathar is also good. Gonna go ahead and attack with everything. Well, not the Thraben, but gonna go ahead and attack for 3, then play both my creatures. They took 3, interesting. Alright. I kind of want the Locathar to not get dazed here. So, nope. This is, of course, one of the reasons I like the token deck a bit more, which I will cover at some point. And that is because the token deck, the Rally of the Peasants deck, I like the fact that the token deck can go wide and win with Rally of the Peasants, is where the White Weenie deck is more honest when it comes to, you know, other things. It's more honest when it comes to combat. Okay, so my opponent did not attack, and they have 1 card in hand. We drew a Plains. Let's go ahead and get more information. Crack the clue. Okay. What the heck? Okay. I guess there's really no reason to not play around days, so just playing the standard bear is probably fine here. And we will attack with both loyal Cathars. My opponent let the standard bearer resolve, so there is a chance that my opponent does not have a removal spell in hand, or maybe does. If they have a counter, they did not want to use it. So that is something. My opponent is down to 13 minutes. Wow, I did not think they were taking that long. Alright, so my opponent's blocking. If their last card is a Shrivel, I'm pretty screwed. So let's hope that it's not a Shrivel. And I'm going to tap my land. I'm hellbent completely, so I can just F8 here all I want. Opponent did not attack. Alright, cool, cool. Elite Vanguard. Alright, well, I'm going to attack with everything. So they would have to block here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or they could block here and take 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that's fine. Actually, I'm not going to attack with this, so that my opponent can, like, block this for free and take 6. Yeah, that seems fine. Just going to keep the standard bearer alive. I feel like it makes it easier. Alright. So they're going to 4. And I have them dead next turn. I think even with that counter spell. Just go ahead and F8. Because they block here, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, I do have them dead. Sky Skiff. Well, I'm not going to attack with the Standard Bearer. And the reason for that is my opponent has to target it with removal. And even if my opponent blocks one of these 2/1s, they are still dead. So, alright, they're blocking the Hawk. Nope, they're blocking the 2/1. They need 2 removal spells or an Agony Warp to live. Of course, another reason why Sky Skiff is good is because it can't be targeted by removal right away, so my opponent has to, work around it. But, well, we won the game. I think I just kind of overwhelmed my opponent. My opponent ran out of enough stuff to deal with all my creatures. I think that Shrivel was a little early, but since my opponent was only on 2 mana at the time, I think I can understand why they did it. But alright, so we're 1-1. And I'll see you back for the next match. Thank you, stay tuned, and thanks for watching.